What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel and the Toyota build. So I got a couple more updates on this motor. I still haven't dropped it off. I'm waiting for my rods to get in so I can measure everything, make sure that the machine shop doesn't take too much off the deck. When they cut the top of that block, I need enough material on there still that my piston protrusion is right. And then we also got all of our bottom end parts other than the rods. So we got pistons, bearings, just other random stuff. I also did a brand new oil pump and the BRM oil pump upgrade, which is basically the chain, the gear, and the tensioner. And it's a smaller gear on the oil pump, so it turns faster, in turn giving you more oil pressure. So that's a good upgrade for modified motors. Keep your oil pressure good. So glad we got that in. Check out a piston. So these are the 0.5 mil overbore ASV pistons, and they have, if you can see inside there, those holes. There's one on top, two on the bottom right there. Those are oiling galleys to cool the piston, and the stock ALH doesn't have those. So these pistons come loaded with rings, so I got to pull these rings off. After I get the block bored, pull the rings off, throw them in the block, measure the gap, and I'm going to go at the looser end of the spec. I still want it within the factory spec. I don't believe that you need to go looser than that, especially on a brand new motor. They will seat and they will, they'll break in and wear a little bit and open up just a touch. So I'm going to set these a little bit on the looser side of the spec. And actually, I believe, from what I've read, they're actually set a little bit loose anyway. So we'll see what they measure out at once we get the block board. So while this motor is out of the truck, I got some stuff I want to do in the engine bay. So I got a question for you guys. What is the first thing you notice when you look at this bay with or without the motor in it? It is this crappy paint. You can see it's all, this is where the factory battery sat on this side. And I assume at some point in his life it leaked and peeled all the paint off, and there's just holes everywhere. There's holes up there, and the paint just doesn't look very good. And when I had the motor out originally, I was gonna do it, but I didn't for some reason. It's just a lot of work to strip everything out of this engine bay, but it has been bugging me ever since I built this thing. So I'm gonna do it now, do it right while the motor's out, and make it look good. So the rest of the truck, I mean, you guys have seen the paint job on it. It looks great. I also I'm gonna paint this inner fender area with some bed liner, get that looking good. So we gotta strip this entire bay, and I'm also gonna paint the core support. So I gotta strip everything off here. I gotta pull the brake booster, the clutch, the power steering. I mean, every freaking wire and hose and part that is in the way of this bay, I got to pull off. So it's going to be a lot of work, but I think in the end it'll be worth it. And then another thing I am going to do is build a new set of motor mounts. These factory Toyota isolators are very, very small, and with the diesel, they vibrate pretty good. So what I'm going to end up having to do is cut this whole mount off the frame. We're gonna have to redo the little brackets, the supports for the shock hoops, and build complete new mounts. Those are supposed to be here pretty soon. So the good thing about that is I got this extra motor I can use for a mock-up. So it's the same exact motor that originally was in the truck. It's ALH. So once I get my mounts in, I'll throw the motor in, we'll get mounts mocked up. And in the meantime, I'm going to start stripping this thing. So I'm going to pull the fenders off. I'm going to pull everything out of the bay, pull the intercooler, headlights, everything off the core support, get this thing ready for some paint. All right, guys, we got this bay all stripped. So now it's just a matter of getting it cleaned up and get all the grease and dirt and everything off it. Then we can paint it. So my plan is I got to get that spare motor in the truck to measure exactly where that motor sits. So when I fab up the other mounts, I can get it in the exact spot because it's super close to the hood and actually pretty close to the steering too. So I want the motor to sit exactly where it is currently with the mounts I have. And then another thing I want to do is redo this intercooler pipe. So I really don't like how I did that. It was kind of just a quick fix for not being able to find the right 90. So I'm going to get that motor in, get the turbo on it, and then I'm going to just cut up some pies, make a little pie cut 90, and get that fixed up. And then I can pull the intercooler, everything off, and cut the brackets off the frame for the motor mounts, and start fabbing up some new mounts. So I think I'm going to tackle this today, get this busted out, and then the next video we'll tackle all the motor mounts. All right, boys, there she is. Not the best welds in the world, but I'd say it turned out pretty good. I haven't touched that TIG in a while, so give it a little brush, kind of a little brush look with a Scotch-Brite wheel. If you want to check these out, my brother actually sells them, Cameron. I'll link his store. You go check them out, they're cheap. Here's a kind of a close-up of that brushed look it gives. Looks really good on aluminum. So I'll link that. I'll link a store where you can pick those up at. So let's go throw this thing on the truck and see how she fits. There we go. Much better than what it was before. Got a question though. Should I powder coat my intercooler pipes? If I do, it'll probably be wrinkle black. It would kind of resemble the cast look. It's kind of a rough wrinkle finish, and black is kind of it's like that, more of a matte black too. So I'm thinking about doing both intercooler pipes and this little race pipe that I built right here. I'm thinking about doing that pipe and in the wrinkle black. All right, guys, that wraps up this video. Let me know if I should powder coat those intercooler pipes. They look good, just that brushed look, but I'm kind of going for like an all black theme under the hood with all the powder coating Cerakote. So I don't know, let me know what you think. So make sure you guys stay tuned for the next video. We are going to get these motor mounts all figured out. We got to pull the motor back out, cut those stock mounts off the frame, put the motor back in, make sure our mounts are exactly where they should be so this motor sits perfect. And then we get those mounts complete and get ready to paint this thing. We got to clean it all up and get ready for some paint in the engine bay. So thanks for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and we'll see you in the next one.